Christmas Nights into Dreams, better known as just Christmas Nights, is certainly a product of the era in which it was produced. Back in the 90s, it was not uncommon to get demo discs, samplers, or even promotional versions of games packed in with magazines, other games, hell, even with your large pepperoni pizza. Okay, I'm sure none of you 90s kids also happen to steal demo discs from your local grocery store, Yeah, okay, it was just me. Oh, it was just me. Okay. Yeah, you better own your shit, heathens. But before Christmas Nights, there was Nights into Dreams. It was itself often included as the packing game for the console in the early days, so it's no surprise that Christmas Nights followed in that game's footsteps as a promotional disc to get everyone into the holiday spirit and to sell a few on the idea of the Saturn itself. Both Nights and Christmas Nights were released in the last half of 1996, just in time for the holiday console rush. Now, with both the Nintendo 64 and the PlayStation 1 coming out in that same calendar year, the Saturn had a tall task ahead of itself. By 1994, Yuji Naka, oh shit, this one has already not aged well, so sheesh. Where was I? Oh yeah, Yuji Naka, one of the primary creators of Sonic the Hedgehog, was looking to do something, just a little different. With the industry moving towards 3D and the Saturn having a suite of third dimension options, he wanted to step away from the little blue hedgehog fella for a bit to a new genderless dream character named Night that could usher in the 21st century, embracing the change that he saw shifting within the world. Initially, the idea was to make this a 2D game, and I would say it definitely shows that in its design. In doing research for this video, I watched LGR's review of the game, in which he referred to it as, and I quote, Sonic the Hedgehog if the level spun around its central point. I think that basically sums it up. In 1996, damn, I was still enjoying the Sega channel, wasn't I? Who remembers that one? Now, my Sega still had a lot of life in it due to the little peripheral that could, basically allowing downloadable games for the first time to any console. Sega really was an innovator, weren't they? But there was, in fact, a new guard coming in, and that Christmas Day, my brother and I got a shiny Sony PlayStation, ready to usher in the 3D era with a 2D fighter named Street Fighter Alpha. Those waning days with my Sega Genesis would be the last time I owned any Sega console, and I never even saw a Sega Saturn in the wild until I was quite a bit older. A friend of mine in high school had one at his house, but that wouldn't be until about 2001-ish. I do remember seeing the Christmas Nights disc along with the cover of the Sega Saturn magazine and thought the main character looked pretty cute. But I was getting too old for cute. You know what I'm saying? I was looking forward to games like Final Fantasy VII, Metal Gear Solid, Symphony of the Night, and other more mature games. So I remember thinking that Nights looked neat, but it wasn't really for a kid who was currently growing his first mustache. Now, finding Metacritic and aggregate data on Nights, and especially Christmas Nights, was pretty difficult. These games were short, packed-in games within magazines and other media, so you can understand why not so many reviews still exist. The ones I could find, though, mostly praised the music, the graphics for the time, as well as the unique and interesting mechanics involved. All these years later, many of the reviews of the re-releases mention just how simplistic and frankly odd this game is. It took me a good bit of time to come to grips with what I was even doing when I first booted it up. Very little is explained story-wise and even less gameplay-wise. But the game certainly was a pioneer of 3D controls, a very, very unique game that few have tried to mimic, let alone best. And probably one of the first androgynous characters that I can remember seeing in a game. Because there haven't really been many games quite like Nights in the years since, I don't think modern games necessarily owe much to it, though I guess in a way, kind of was like the proto Superman 64, so I guess we can thank it for that, right? Now honestly, I did enjoy this game. It's seriously interesting. I don't know what other word to use other than that. It's a fascinating snapshot of games making their way into the third dimension. And much like you in the 4th grade with the braces and the bowl cut, didn't quite stick the landing gracefully. The graphics were pretty impressive at the time, and the remaster makes it look much better, but it's still pretty solid on modern screens. But wow, it is cluttered. Like, how many bells and wreaths does one screenshot need? The sound, on the other hand, is still top notch, especially the music. I absolutely adored the soundtrack, pretty much cover to cover. Christmas NightS leans heavily into the Christmas themes with more dancey, up-tempo versions of songs such as Joy to the World, replete with synths, sine bass, and danceable drum lines. There's also tracks that invoke like a barbershop quartet style that really gave me Boys to Men vibe. I won't really get into the story since Christmas NightS really doesn't have much of one, but you do get to choose between two characters, Elliot and Clarice, who basically like merge with NightS. Like apparently NightS can assimilate the bodies of children within their dreams and become them. Like anyway, yeah, the story is not super important, but if you are interested in the overall story and you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments below and I'll do something like this for the original Nights in the Dreams. Controls were sort of hard to come to grips with because I was so used to having complete usage of the entire 3D space like you would in a modern game. You fly through rings, attack enemies, and ultimately work your way through stages to fight bosses and earn high scores and ranks. As you finish runs, you are taken to a screen that allows you to unlock art, a music gallery, and even Sonic himself, but the little fucker can't fly, so it barely even works for this game. It's kind of weird, but a pretty cool Easter egg considering it's like probably Sonic's first 3D model in a game. Is this game still fun to play? I'd say yeah, mostly. Maybe it's because I'm in the Christmas spirit, but definitely enjoyed the music, the atmosphere, and the quirky and simplistic nature of the game in general. Christmas Nights in the Dreams was pretty fun. Like it was just a nice little romp. Yeah, not a whole lot more to say than that. If you two are looking to turn your brain off for a little bit, fly around through a fascinating Christmas landscape and enjoy some not so subtle head bobbing versions of your favorite holiday tunes, well, Christmas NightS just might be for you as well. It's only about the price of a Wendy's value meal on Steam, so you know, why not pull out your own Santa hat, grab yourself a cup of Eggman Nog, and give one of Sega's first forays into the third dimension a chance yourself. I think you might enjoy it. Ho, 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 hoes. Check out more videos. Peace.